What's going on, YouTubes? Time for a recap. So, we cannot complain when the market hands you a free day, easiest of all, over 20 trades at 100% accuracy today, called way before they happened, as always. So, coming into the Discord here, I gave a lot of explanations on why the QQQs needs to hit this live target first, 541.24 after open, which we'll get into that algo. Why I picked 608. This has to be readjusted. This was a garbage by Thinkorswim snapping tool, so it was over under 608. We fixed in our chat later on for the SPY short, as I called, and everything above that SPY for a random long was absolutely dead as long as it went under 608. And I spent the entire pre-market explaining every single trade down to the T. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, hold on. Junk Logitech mouse. There we go. We have this fancy editing mouse everybody said was the best of the best on YouTube. 1 out of 5 stars. By far the worst mouse I've ever used. So the rubber band was first. Let me explain why I knew pre-market was heading up on the S&P 500 on the move up. So you see me calling 6:31 in the morning here, right on here, right off yesterday's close, all the way up to yesterday's high. And I went through a whole breakdown saying it has to go from yesterday's close all the way up to yesterday's highs. We call this the rubber band effect. How did I know it was going to do that? Well, Q's was an all-time high FOMO moving, okay? The all-time high, 504.84, and then yesterday's highs, obviously just under that, which is purely scam. There's no reason for it to be up in momentum in all-time highs, so it will come down. All I had to do is pick the exact top, which we did, and it was going to come all the way back down to the GP on SPY. Sounds weird, right? But because Q's was front running all morning, I knew this whole blast off in pre-market was coming, just full scam up, right? All thanks to this algo. And that was the main reason it was going to rubber band SPY, which is nowhere near all-time highs, coming up to yesterday's highs. So again, QQQ was in a massive gap up, which we said would not hold. It'll come down to yesterday's highs, which is the orange dash line right here. And then that was after SPY lost its lows and came down to my 1 minute gap in final short target of the golden pocket yesterday. So let's get into it. It all starts on Q's, on how I knew we were coming up. In the pre-market, as we explained, all-time high FOMO moving will drag SPY up from yesterday's close in the pre-market all the way up. But how did I pick the top? Well, if you know algos like us, easy. This is why we have so many green days in a row. We don't post red days because we don't got them. We came into the algo right here, did the high-low. If TOS, whatever. Hey, there we go. 8th click is the charm. Let go of my drawing tool, we'll make it green. So as you see all the time on my channel, every day the same, I fib out these algos that come in pre, and I watch for it to bang into, hey, the 1618. After the 1618 dies off, it usually generally returns to the 100 and then the golden pocket. That's how I pick the top of the market. How did I pick the rest of my targets to the downside? Well, I didn't worry about Q's one bit after we had the big push up. I said Q's is just going to come all the way down to the 1618 tag, right? So I picked the top and it went right to this 1618. Well, where did I get that? Pre-market yesterday. So another neon green right here, Fibonacci high-low on this big wick with no golden pocket. It took off yesterday on the scam grind up, all the way up yesterday and missed the 1618 yesterday, right? 541.24. So anything, like we say, you draw the fib box and above it goes to the 1618. Did it hit it? Sure didn't. And where are we opening today? Way over it. So we had a high percentile chance to get drugged down into the green 1618 that we missed yesterday. We gapped over it and ran. Algos do not like that. If you know algos like we do, it was easy as pie today. So let's get into the SPY trades, because I called all of these today as well, into this beautiful market move. So SPY was the better one for the short because it was lagging today, right? The S&P 500 doesn't matter when the Q's and videos running for Q's. The S&P is the real market, so it does matter as far as directional, but it doesn't really matter if the single fangs are running. Single NVIDIA, single AMD on the chippers, paired with things like Tesla and Meta, are going to make the QQQs run just outlandish compared to the SPY. And we see this every day. It's very simple. So as we come into yesterday's highs, right here, orange dash line again, like always, SPY needed to fail. And like I said, I needed to readjust 608 over under because the snapping tool on TOS is garbage. So we went to the all-time high weekly, and this is where I got this level from, okay? And you know me in fibs, right? Very simple stuff. All-time high, high-low, golden pocket, no taggy. Once we're inside the low, goes to golden pocket all the time. Very simple. Top of the golden pocket hit, Was that yesterday? I don't think so. Let's go to the daily chart from the weekly. Oh, what do we see? A shy? Let's talk about it. So easy. As we come into the day, this was the golden pocket, right? So if you were inside 599.44, and if you watched my YouTube video back on Sunday, I said if we recuperated the 10 SMA on the daily, we were going to shoot up to these weeklies, and anything above 600, it was going to scam up highs, right? And we got the fake catalyst by the baby hand Trumps with the ceasefire in Israel, Iran, just nonsense catalysts that don't mean anything, pumping the market on purely perfect timing, which again, we always see it. We're always prepared for those. So as we come into the GP, we had this lower GP all the way up to the 38.20 for this higher GP. We had came into this, hit the 50, and then came to, just like we said, it shied 607.95. So we knew that was going to be a hit today as well. So if the market held yesterday's close on SPY while it was FOMO all-time high moving in pre-market on Qs, we were clearly going to come up and tag this fib from what we shied yesterday. We say this every day. I just can't, sorry, I'm probably eccentric today. I just can't believe how freaking easy it was to make so much money today. I just love these days. So let's get into the rest of the SPY here. So the SPY, we said 608 over under. Why did we pick 608? It's obviously the weekly GP top. So if we would have held above that, it would have scammed up to wherever the hell it wanted to go. Didn't even have a plan for it, didn't care because it was going to come down. Where does it go? Well, yesterday's highs and yesterday's lows is something we fib out every single day with a golden Fibonacci. And then we have this guy right here is the golden pocket. So the GP right here, anytime we see a failure of yesterday's highs, we generally want to go down to the golden pocket, right? And what's right at yesterday's highs? Holy moly, the weekly GP 608, right accompanied by yesterday's highs. So any price action, watch this, high of day, structure break to the low, lower high, death, down to the 50 GP. Wow, so tough. So very clean. Every time we were under yesterday's highs, under the 608, we have a guaranteed down move. And I don't like the G word, but today was guaranteed. We guaranteed about 14 different trades today. It all worked 20 for 20, just under. I think it was 18. I'm exaggerating. But either way, loved it today. So under yesterday's highs into the GP, and the final is always 50. Now, another thing that would have helped you, last but not least on this trade, before I go over the VIX, is utilizing our gap strategies. On the 1 minute chart, you'd come over here to the SPY and you would see a gap, 605.52. The gap indicator is overran by this drawing right here, but as you can see right here, the candles between 10:22 and 3 Central Time left a gap. So we label those 605.52 as a 1 minute gap. If you know algorithms like we do and magnets like we do, that was going to be a detrimental spot for when we lose yesterday's highs for the algos to pull down to, oh my goodness, look at that, the 1 minute gap. This is how we trade. We are algorithmic traders that use magnets. Again, why I can't post any red days, because we ain't got them. So as we move into the under 50 weekly and move to the shy of the 1 minute, which you hear me say, we will still fill up this gap most likely today. And if not, we'll have the catalyst coming into tomorrow with the crappy jobs and GDP, and even worse coming into PCE and Friday, which hopefully continue the crack on the market, which we deserve. So last but not least, I'll go over the VIX real quick and show you exactly how we pinpointed the market for this today as well. So I'll give you the big takeaway again, algo magnets and first tags. During yesterday's grind up, it had a giant gap down, right, on the VIX. But one key takeaway, I use the 100 EMA above all because it is the best moving average in the world. When you notice yesterday from the open of VIX to the close of VIX, you're going to notice that green 100 EMA never saw the light of day. No sunshine, no price action. It broke through with multiple gaps to the downside that are all left open, which you guys should be marking out because we will come back to here. And that was going to be the next magnet. Magnet meaning price action today, because yesterday, the open of VIX and the close of VIX, we never seen the 100 EMA get tagged, which means today we have a very high probability chance of the VIX hitting. So let's go over my breakdown for that. I fibbed out a high low, and you see another GP. This is from the 11th, okay? And we put this on and said, well, as long as the VIX holds, and I said 1693, which is bottom of the GP. If you're confused, where I daily out these every single way on every chart, it does not matter. VIX, you can't do too much TA on. You can do a couple, which I don't give away for free, but just pay attention. Maybe you'll pick it up. Here's the 11th on the candle. And I said the high low here, we should hold the bottom of the golden pocket, which is $16.93. After we hold $16.93, our shorts will start, right? And then it will pop, and then it will go chase down the 100 EMA and then the 200 SMA. Those are my calls. So what's the low a day? Well, what do you know? 1693, tough. So it comes into our support, does a huge gap. And then as noted, intraday gap, I said as long as it comes in, taps the gap, we are definitely going up on the VIX, which we did. We hit the 100 EMA target as suggested. And then I made a zone right here, as you can see, 1750 being the 50 of the 11th candle. And I said anything above that, we're going to go to the 200 SMA. Holds that, pushes, and what do you know? Shies it by a little bit. No big deal. Comes back for a little algo blip, hits it. Now she's dying off. Doesn't matter to me because all of our trades were set up in the morning. So again, that is exactly how we predicted the VIX as well. Way before it happened, we broke that down in pre. And then when we got that tag of 1693, it was game over. All shorts were on, and it was a beautiful downside day. What's next? Well, further predictions will state the normal. If we stay under that 608, I don't want to see anything over that weekly GP we just talked about at the beginning of the video. That will confirm that they're going to be pushing this market fluff up, 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 which does not matter to me because the gap that we had just created deserves a pretty good tag in my opinion. So the one thing you're going to want to look for is any action under 608 that would net you down to about 600 for the end of the month still. So this golden pocket right here is going to be a resistance check into the week, hopefully into Thursday, Friday data, which we should end up to the downside. Notice the 1618 from yesterday's high low. It's this guy here, 624. That 1618 lines up very close with gap fill as well. And we did gap a GP. So even if we do, I'll give you the final target right here. Even if we do fail up here and don't make it to 600, right, at the bottom, we should make it to 616's golden pocket, which means anything under the hold of 608 should net us down to this golden pocket come Friday at the bare minimum. 1%, 6 points down on SPY, 60 on ES. And that's it. If you want to come hang out with us in Discord and see how I do this live and call it all pre-market ahead of time, plus the live stream, the link's in the description. You want to win some free cash money, so all you got to do is make sure you're subscribed, leave a like, drop a comment below. That gets you entered into the random comment picker. And I just give away cash every weekend just for the support of the channel. That's it. All right, guys, take care. Trade safe.